Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. And in today's video, we're going to look at a company or some people who make this crazy world a little bit saner, who help to make a positive contribution to helping families, to helping people in need. And we're going to look at them. We've looked at them before. It's beneath the surface. They're a diving company, if you like. They're not a diving company. I don't know how to describe them really, because I don't think they're a charity either. They're an organization. But anyway, it doesn't matter really. But they're people who go out and help people find either their missing loved ones, like human beings, or their four-legged friends that go missing, because that's just as distressing to a lot of people, isn't it? They lose a pet. It's like losing part of the family, and trying to recover them, find them, recover them. Unfortunately, beneath the surface, it's normally a grim outcome, if you like, that it's not likely that they will find somebody still alive or a pet that is still alive. But it's still a peace, a reconciliation, a resolution, something that they give to the people that are missing them. And they do all this completely free of charge, you know. And also the thing about beneath the surface that just totally impresses me is, you know, they're not looking for self-publicization. I'm trying to publicize them a bit. I'm going to do it as far as I can, but they don't try and do it themselves. They're not looking for praise. They're not looking for all those things. They just genuinely want to help people that are in need. And I think this is something we're so short of in this world. Someone doing something, you know, just for them. Just for others, not for them, is rare, isn't it? So as soon as I sort of found out about them, started looking at their videos, etc., on their YouTube channel, which I've got permission to show, by the way. I'm just fascinated now. And I think part of the reason why I'm so fascinated is because it's something I know I could never do. You know, I just couldn't do it. You know, I have a fear of water, certainly murky water where you don't know, what's in there. I don't mind going in water where I can clearly see to the bottom, but I don't like really going underwater. I don't mind swimming underwater. That's not the same as diving down, you know, like with a mask on, etc. And not knowing what you're going to find. And you could find something horrific, really. In fact, you're looking to find something horrific because what you're normally looking for is a body of some description, isn't it? So, it's just not nice, is it? Thank God they do it. If they didn't do it, who would do it? And of course, police divers do it as well, and other companies do it. But this company is particularly, or this organization, or whatever I call it, is particularly intriguing me because of the unselfish nature of how they do it. They do it in their spare time at the weekends. They have jobs the rest of the week. So they're constrained for time. They don't ask for money. They don't ask for thanks. They're very under the radar. You don't really hear about them much. You know, they're not all over the telly or, you know, all that kind of thing. And it just gives you faith, doesn't it, in human nature that there are people out there like that. And I don't think they would probably even like me saying that, maybe, because they are so modest and everything. So it's like I feel I'm in a sort of a strange situation because I want to sing their praises to the rooftops. But also I know that they probably feel a little bit uncomfortable with too much attention. They want the attention to be on the families. They want the attention to be on water safety. Because so that they really, what they want is that they are never needed, you know, because if people were more aware of water safety, etc., there would be less people going missing in water or, you know, getting into trouble in water. That's their goal, I think, is to just there to be a day where they're not needed. And of course, they don't only search in water. They also, they look anywhere for anyone on ground, in water. They'll help wherever they can. So yeah, I've become fascinated with their YouTube channel, their Facebook page. Again, as I said, because it's something I know I could never do, but thank God somebody does it. And them taking us with, they've got some fascinating videos where they actually go into the water. That's something I will never see in real life. I don't want to see it. Do you know what I mean? So because of the internet, I can see it. I can see the challenges firsthand that they face. I can sort of feel it and experience it. And that's, of course, something that we can only do because of the internet. And it's important to see what challenges people face, and not only these people, but the police, divers, or mountain rescue, all the people that are out there, most of them volunteers, you know, all the time, but not, you don't see them all over, making interviews on the telly, or, you don't know about them. You don't know who they are. They're people who just do this because they want to help, not for their own sort of purposes. So anyway, sorry, let me take my banner off. So first thing I want to say is thank you for watching, thank you for caring about people. Of course, the reason why I've sort of gotten interested in this is we've done a lot of cases, haven't we, of people that have gone missing in the water, or near water. And, the police always say, don't they, that especially young men, if they go missing near water, they normally end up in the water. And some people have been found. And then we had the twins or the triplets, two of the triplets in Aberdeen, cases that sort of hit the headlines. But I think what never hits the headlines is how difficult it is to find people. Sometimes people get frustrated, because you think, the police haven't found them quickly enough, so that's the other reason why I think these videos are important, to show people the challenges, to show them it's not as easy as it looks, I don't even know if it looks easy, but it's not as easy as you think. If you don't know how difficult it is to find a body in water, and depending on the water, of course, there's small rivers, big rivers, there's high currents, there's tidal rivers, there's lakes, there's weirs, there's lochs, the sea. There's so many different facets to it. So that's the other reason. So why, I think it'll be interesting. Well, it's certainly interesting to me. I hope it's interesting to you as well. Because of the cases that we've looked at, and it gives us a bit more understanding about why sometimes it's taken quite a long time to find people, doesn't it? And what people suffering in that time are the families, because they're waiting. They don't know what's happened to their loved one. There's a part of them that's hoping that they're never found in the river or wherever it is they've gone missing, because that obviously confirms their worst fears. And then there's a part of them, I expect, that hopes they are found, just so that they get a resolution, they get a little bit of peace. Anyway, that's not what we're not going to look at any individual cases or anything like that. We're just going to look at some of Beneath the Surface's YouTube videos that will give us an idea of how it is. Sorry, I started off saying thank you. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you to all my members. So, of course, don't forget, tonight is Members Live. And tonight I'll be telling you about who the guests are. I've got 2 special guests tomorrow for Friday night, and I'll be telling you who they are tonight in the Members Live. Thank you to everyone who sent me, bought me a Ko-fi, sent me a super sticker, PayPal me, etc. Anyone who supports my channel, sent me a nice email, left a nice message. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. Okay, so I'm going to take my banner off now, I think. So hello to all you lurkers watching there at home. Hello to all you replay crew who didn't catch the live but are watching later. Thank you for watching. And now I'm going to say hello to anyone who's brave enough to face the chat. Hi, Bluebell. Hi, Angel. Angel, I hope you're okay. I just saw briefly last night you'd had a catastrophic job interview. I hope you're feeling okay today. Bluebell. I don't think they no, I don't think. I don't know because they're very also because they don't talk about individual cases. So, but I don't think so. I don't think so. But it was the police, of course, that did find Kalaya. We're gonna talk about her soon again. Just well, not about anyway. Never mind. So sorry, I can't keep diversifying. Um, yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry to hear that, Angel. A woman giving you the death square. What was it? The resting bitch face. Well, you don't want to work there anyway, then, do you? That's one thing. Then, just like you don't want that job. What about a change of job? I mean, I don't know what job you do. I'm not trying to pry or interfere. But you know what? Sometimes, thing about work is, it's like sometimes, gosh, I've been so very lucky. Nearly every job I've ever done, to be honest, I've enjoyed it. I've always tried to do it the best of my ability. But if I didn't like it, like when I worked at the Social Security years ago, I think I might mention this before, civil service. My dad was, over the moon when I got that job for life. You know, my dad came from an era and he's working class. He remembers children being sold, or he did. I mean, he's not with us anymore, but he remembered children being sold in Manchester to the people taking their children there and selling them. It was in his living memory. And he was brought up in this sort of, his parents were like Victorian, really, so he's brought up in this era of poverty for working class people. And so when I got a job at the civil service for the government, oh my God, it was like, oh God, that's fantastic. That's the most boring job that I've ever had in my life. I've had so many different jobs, really. Um, no, no, no. In my early life, right? No, you're going in the bathroom. I'm not having it. I told you, if you want to be down here, you've got to be good. Yeah, I'm not putting up with Tia this morning, and she's a madam. Anyway, yeah. So I've had so many jobs, in my life. I've had a long life. I mean, not over the last 25 years. I've been a Spanish teacher, an interpreter, and of course now doing the YouTube. But I've had lots of different jobs, and there's jobs that have paid better than others. The Social Security was a job that paid well, and he was right. I mean, if I would have stayed there, probably would have been retired by now with a good pension. I might have even, but it was so boring. It was awful. It was soul destroying. I couldn't do that. I'd be dead in a different way. I'd be dead here. People who work in those jobs, I mean, all credit to them if they can do it, but it's just not for me. I forgot why I started saying this now, so I'm digressing. Sorry. So yeah, maybe think about something different. I don't know, that maybe might be more enjoyable than whatever job it is you were doing. Because if you're going for a job interview, and the people at the job interview are giving you a death scare, you just think, well, stare. You just don't want that job, do you? Okay. Hi, David. Yeah. Even if she offers you that job, tell her to stick it. Yeah. Yeah. Computer says no. No, so sometimes there are jobs, that's what they say, isn't it? If you get a job you like, you never work a day in your life. I don't know. It's just thing is about work is as well, and I tell you what, people who go to work in job once you've got if you're supporting kids or supporting other people, you don't have much choice, and people have to get up and go to work and do their job whether they want to do it or not. And do you know what, to me, that my respect totally goes out to those people, men, women, single parents, whoever it is, get up and go out to work, do a job that maybe they don't like, but at least they know they've got the weekends maybe with their kids, or they can buy them things, or they can send. Some people have more than one job. They work in the day and then they work in the evening as well, because, trying to make ends meet nowadays is difficult. That they just have all my respect. Now, that I'm not criticizing people who don't work. If people can't work, that's a different matter. That's what the welfare system is for, people who can't work. But do you know what? Sometimes there are people who can work, but they just don't want to. So those are the people that need to be got back to work, in my opinion. But anyway, there's a dignity in work. And also, as I say, it doesn't matter what job you do. The jobs I've enjoyed the most are probably jobs that people might sniff at. I worked in betting offices for years. I enjoyed that. It was an interesting job. You met interesting people. If you work in hospitality, or you work in whatever you do, if you're a cleaner, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you do. You take pride in what you do, and no job is better than another. But then, of course, there's different jobs. Going higher and higher up. Seems like the less work you do, the more money you get paid. Don't you think that? Sometimes I think, oh God, people work so hard and they get crap wages, and then these people who do bugger all, really. But these just jobs that are given a better sort of type, a more kudos. Now, we've ended up in a political debate here, and I want to talk about diving. Well, do you know, Blue Belt is true. All jobs are important. Well, we found out in COVID, didn't we, which jobs were really important? Who were the people we missed during COVID, or the people that we needed, the people we appreciated? Well, it was the hospital staff. It was the hospital staff. It was the carers. It was the bin men, the people who work in supermarkets, the bus drivers that carried on working through COVID because they were essential workers. Who wasn't essential workers? You know what I mean? Who wasn't? They're the ones that earn the most money. They weren't essential workers. The essential workers are the people that sometimes people sniff at a bit, like the cleaners, etc., and stuff like that. They're hard jobs. The carers. Why do they always get paid so little? It just feels to me sometimes that the more important job that you do in society, I mean, in society, not money creating jobs. That's the whole problem, isn't it? If you live in a capitalist society, the jobs that create wealth are more important. Like, you can work in banking, or you could be a financial advisor, or you could, some of these titles, I don't even know what they mean. And you can have all that money and do absolutely nothing positive with it, like Elon Musk, just sending people off into space and destroying the atmosphere, ruining the atmosphere. And why doesn't he do something positive with his money? And then you've got people doing things that are positive. Who's the person that you're going to need when you're older? And that the carers, the nurses, the doctors, etc. These are important people in society, and they don't get enough recognition. They got it during COVID. Once COVID was over, it was just like, oh, fuck off, you're not having a pay rise. Carers weren't appreciated. Who would you not be able, you've just got to think in your life who you need. Like, if people didn't come and clear the bins every day, if people didn't work in the supermarket so that you could go and buy your food and stuff like that, these are the essential workers, aren't they? But anyway, never mind. You've got, and somebody once said to me as well, which I think is true, it doesn't, like I say, it doesn't matter what you are. How can I explain? It doesn't matter what job you do, because every job is important in its own way. What would you do without a plumber? If you could, well, that's what we're finding now. No one wants to be a plumber. Everyone wants, all the kids that want to be pop stars or celebrities. Nobody wants to be a plumber or a carpenter or whatever. But you know, we need these people. So you see what happens when something goes wrong in your house and you need a plumber. You can't bloody find one. You know, all jobs are important, but some jobs actually are more important than others. Okay. Now, so let's get back to the. So, if anyone's watching this, waiting to see the sonar images and everything, I'm sorry. We've got sort of carried away as usual, haven't we? In chat, but yeah. Okay, so this I will find a way to describe them one day. This dive company, it's not a company, but these divers, they're not only divers though either. So anyway, I'll let them describe themselves. So we're going to go over to their YouTube channel, and as I say, I have had permission to use their YouTube videos. Thank you so much for that, beneath the surface. Now, but what I want to say first of all, as we go to it, please, go over and subscribe to this channel, because I don't think they've got enough subscribers. I don't think they get enough views for what they do, which is really interesting. But I don't think a lot of people know about them. I think that's the reason, because they're not, you know, they're not full of themselves and all over the media all the time. So, you know, at least something I can do for them is I can give them, you know, but I'm on a tiny YouTube channel. But please, go over there, like their video, share, comment. You know, these are all the things that improve the, whatever you call it, the, God, what's that stupid thing they talk about? The algorithm on YouTube that nobody really understands. Maybe some people do understand it. I certainly don't. I never sort of do videos for the algorithm. I do videos for what I will find interesting and what I think my chatters will find interesting. Please subscribe, because it's completely free. To subscribe and like is free. You know, so go over there and give them a like and a subscribe. So they put this video up. You want more sonar images? Okay, here is another. See how quickly you can identify this sonar image as we dive on it to show you. So this is the sonar image. So the thing is, when you're doing the sonar, like you get something will come up that, you know, if you're clever, you will think, oh, you know, that's, what do they call it? A target, don't they? A target. And then once you see a target, you have to actually go down and see, you know, what is it? You know, especially if you're looking for someone or something, could be anything, couldn't it? So let's have a look. So this is the target. They're going to go down and dive on it. Now, sort of from there, I mean, it could be anything, couldn't it? Yeah, especially that there. I mean, just could be anything. But it's something. So they're going down to see where it is. So the other thing is, I don't think I've ever seen this on other channels, you know, the actual, these videos. It's so fascinating, isn't it? You're going down, they've got, look at the torch there attached to their hand. And it's so dark. It is so dark, and it'd be cold, and it'd be, well, obviously wet. I mean, that's, you know, cold, wet, of course, you know, it is a river or whatever. But do you know what I mean? It's just like so unpleasant. Of course, the other thing is it takes so long to get all geared up to do it. Do you know, like you don't just sort of trot along there, and 10 minutes later you're in the water. All that preparation, all that stuff you've got to put on. I mean, they must enjoy doing it, because otherwise you wouldn't do it, would you? And I believe with this company, what happened was they started off like just for pleasure, looking for wrecks and things like that, because they enjoyed. A lot of people enjoy scuba diving, don't they? It's very popular, obviously here in Spain, because people like to go down and look at the fish and etc. Very, very popular here in Spain. And but of course, it's a different scenario here than it would be there in the UK. It'd be cold, wet. I keep saying wet, obviously wet. But it would. It's not very pleasant, is it? It's not like going down in your bikini, like looking at pretty fish. So yeah, I'm always impressed by how dark and murky it is, because when you go into the water here in Spain, it's normally, I mean, I'm not saying it's still not dangerous. It is dangerous, of course it is, but it's clear. At least the sun's shining. It's got to be a whole different ball game to this. So yeah, apparently they start doing it for pleasure, and then people ask them to do things, and it just sort of spiraled from there. I know, David, that's what I think. Imagine, so you're down there, you can't see a bloody thing, but you've got the torch on, but there's nothing to see at the moment, and then suddenly a body just floated past you. I mean, it'd just be horrendous, wouldn't it? And it reminds me of, do you remember Jaws? Was it Jaws, the film Jaws? When they go onto the, or was it Jaws? I think there's been a couple. Oh yeah, I think it was Jaws, where they go onto that boat and they're looking for some fisherman or something, and this head just appears. It just reminds me of that. And it was one of those moments, of course, Jaws, one of the best the most classic films, isn't it? I've seen Jaws about 10 times. When I was young, I must watch it again, because I haven't watched it for years now. But yeah, when that head came out of the boat, oh my God, everyone jumped in the cinema. It was like, one of those moments. But this is like real life Jaws, isn't it? They're actually doing it. God knows what's going to pop out at them. God, and the sight, because the other thing, it's so silent, isn't it, down there? All you can hear is the sort of, the movement of the water and the breathing apparatus. It'd be so silent, it's claustrophobic. I think that's why I wouldn't like it, is the claustrophobia of it, because I do like swimming, but I don't think I would like scuba diving. Oh, it is like a horror movie, my angel, isn't it? It's like the suspense, it's like, so you've seen something now. That noise of that water gives me the creeps. So it looks like it's a tree stump, doesn't it? Well, they do say where it is at the end. But you could see how it can look like all sorts of things. You know, when you see the sonar image, you just know there's something there. It could be anything. You see exactly what it is. Wow. Now, the other thing, actually, that I mean, I'm not sure exactly where this is, but that's exactly the sort of thing that if you go wild swimming, you know, all this fashion for wild swimming, and people are, you know, telling people, oh, yeah, it's great for your mental health and all this. Yeah, it's great for your mental health, but this is exactly the sort of thing that you could, you know, trip up on or get your foot stuck underneath or whatever, you know. I think this is quite deep in this place, obviously, because he had to dive down to it. But you could be in a little river that looks all nice and safe and what have you, and then at the bottom there's a tree stump or, you know, some sort of weeds or things you can't see from the surface. So easy to get your foot caught in them. Then what you're going to do then? It's dragging you down, and then, you know, that's it's just something you just do not know what is. To me, as much as I can see the attraction of wild swimming, but you should never, ever, ever do it on your own. You know, you should be in groups. It should be organized, you know, with precautions. I mean, you know, the thing about accidents is, I think it's probably, you know, with the best will in the world, the reality is it's probably impossible to stop completely accidents, but you can reduce them, you know. Uh, just a simple thing like don't go out on your own while swimming. So easily you could catch your foot in something like that, couldn't you? And if there's nobody there to help you, yeah, in that cave rescue dive, of course, one of the divers died, didn't he? Trying to save, well, they did save those boys, and it was fabulous what they did. But again, is another example of trouble with the thing about water is tidal water, especially tides, even rivers, streams. You just don't know it at the end of the day. Those boys and he was like their football coach, wasn't he, or something? They didn't know. They went in that cave and they had to keep going further and further away, I think, wasn't it? And then the water wasn't there then. You know, you just don't know with water, with tides. Look at the cockle pickers at was it Morecambe Bay? They were all killed, weren't they, by a freak sort of tide, or the tide came in and they didn't realise it, or they misjudged it. Anything to do with nature, really, but especially water, you have got to take precautions. So look, that's what it was. It was a giant sunken tree trunk. Oh my God. Ooh, and you could actually see how that could easily be thought of as a body when it was down there until it was actually dove, you know. You can see that as well. But anyway, so that's what I thought was fascinating in that video. like you were saying, Angel, it's just a 4-minute video. It is like a horror film, but it's true as well. It's like the reality. Let's see if we've got another one. Oh, here's another one. Let's have a look at this. I haven't seen this one. I don't know where it is. So again, when you actually see the sonar image, I mean, it just means nothing. I suppose if you're an expert in sonar, you'd have a bit of a better idea, I suppose. Yeah, just want to say I saw that, Michelle. That was an organised trip, wasn't it? But it turned out that girl, the woman, we might have a look at that in a moment. She wasn't qualified, was she, to do that? That just shows you that's you go on an organised trip, you'd expect to be safe, wouldn't you? You'd expect if you go on an organised trip that your instructors or whatever would keep you out of harm's way. But yeah, that was terrible. But we might have a look at that in a minute. And sorry, just looking at that David's saying, two dive. We might have a look at that. Thing is, what it's like. Once we start looking at things, it goes on and on. I thought it was one, but there could have been two, and one was a Navy SEAL. So that again just shows you, doesn't it? It wasn't somebody inexperienced. Those divers that set out to rescue those boys. They weren't just Fred Bloggs like from round the corner, like just helping out. They were experts and still lost their lives. That's how dangerous it is, even to experts. And that is, I think, something to remember about these recovery people is they risk their lives too when they go out trying to recover bodies or whatever. They are risking their own lives. Because something can always happen no matter how experienced someone is. So there you go. It's, you've got to respect the water, haven't you? Or any conditions, natural conditions. It's just following that line down, is it? These are brilliant videos. I don't know why they haven't got more views. I think because it's not self-published. Because the videos are so good to show you, how it is. So I'm just going to turn the sound down. That music's... Having said that, I like the gurgling sound on it as well. Wow. Yeah, when the video gets my video goes, I will probably take that song off. I do think the song's distracting. Sorry, beneath this if you're watching, but honestly, I don't think you need a song on the back of it because it's fascinating enough just with the gurgling and the silence, if you like, it creates that atmosphere. God, I've forgotten what I was going to say now. Apart from that, I was going to say something else, but anyway, it's gone. But yeah, it's just fascinating seeing the cold footage, if you like, or you don't need the music really. Oh yeah, I've just remembered what I was going to say. So this is what, remember that submarine thing that went down to look at Titanic that ended up in disaster. Uh, that's what they were going down to look at, wasn't it? A wreckage. You know, they could have looked at it on the internet. You know, I honestly just don't get that. If I was a billionaire, I know for 100% fact I would not be spending my money as a billionaire on going down and looking at the Titanic in a submarine when I can just go on the internet and look at it. I understand people wanting to see it. And maybe years ago you would have done that because that was the only way you could see it. But now you can just go on the internet, click on Titanic wreck or whatever, and do a guided tour of it. What was the point of it? I'm sorry, I just don't get it. You know, give your money to the homeless, you know, end child poverty, do something positive with it. Why do that? What was that? Is it a wreck? Has anybody worked out what that is yet? Because I'm not sure what it is. What is that? It's like a boat, is it? A boat? Oh God, this reminds me of Jaws. This definitely reminds me of Jaws. You keep thinking your head's going to fall out the bottom of the boat, don't you? I'll turn the sound down a bit, I think, because that music's really irritating. Yeah, I think that's a boat, is it? Now you know for a fact they're not going to. If they had found a body, they're not going to put it on their YouTube channel. That's for sure. So you know it's not going to be anything like that. But that, yeah, maybe. Oh, oh my God! So oh, does it give you a fright even if a big crab crawled down or something, or a fish come flying out? I mean, it'd give you a start, wouldn't it? Never mind the body. I wonder how people get into this in the first place, really, because, you know, I just think, how do you go from a stage where maybe you just like swimming and and you think, oh, I'm going to go and look at some shipwrecks, I suppose, or then someone asks you to help them look for their dog. I think that's what happened with these guys. You know, just local people then saying, oh, you know, suppose it'd be the same if you had a drone or something and somebody would say to you, can you help us look for our dog? Or, and then it just sort of goes from there, I suppose. not sure what this is that they're doing now. So that's the wire, isn't it? The cable that they drop down to the bottom. Well, you can see the surface there, at least not too far from the surface there. Well, you see the attraction of the look. I mean, it was beautiful, isn't it? The scenery and that. But oh, it was look. It was this boat or a boat similar to this. It wasn't. Not saying it was one of these boats, but yeah, it was. It was a sunken boat. So wow. Very interesting. Is it just me who finds it interesting? It can't be just me. I find it really interesting. Bluebell said it was a chest, a coffin, or a violin case. Yeah, guessing game. Let's see if there's any more like that. They are fascinating, actually, those. Let's see. Oh. What about this? Identifying an item of clothing in a UK river search. Let's have a look at that. Just like it. 29 views. I can't believe they've not had more views because I find it fascinating. I don't know. See, a little bit morbid to talk about, but of course, after someone's been missing a certain length of time, it's the clothing that you will find because obviously, if somebody's been missing, some of the people that they found or that anyone in general has found have been missing maybe a year or 2 years. So it's the clothing that they find that will, there may be bones, not to find a point on it. There's not, obviously, if you're looking for a body in the first instance, but as time goes on, it's no longer really a body you're looking for, is it? So it'd be the clothing, and inside the clothing will be the bones. See, I'd be, it's giving me the chills that because there could be a body in those clothes, couldn't there? And in a sort of way, that's what you're hoping for, because when they're down there searching for people, they are hoping to find. It sounds awful, doesn't it? But they are hoping to find the person who's been missing to bring resolution to the families. We're almost hoping that there are some remains in there, but of course, it's not very pleasant. Gosh. Wow. I mean, hats off to them for what they do. What's that? Oh, is that something they're going to attach to it? So I suppose they'll find, like, if they find item of clothing like that, it could be because it, belonged to somebody who's deceased in the water, or it could have just been flung, discarded in the water. They don't know, do they? But also, this is who's going to pull it up, yeah, because they'll get covered in silt, I would imagine, at the bottom of a river or wherever. They can be embedded in the riverbed or wherever it is. So they might take some pulling up. They could be covered by rocks, covered by all sorts of things. Wow. Oh my God. So when they pull that up, they don't know if there will be any bones inside it or not. So it's such a grim task, but it must also be rewarding. It must feel fantastic, really, when you find someone. I don't mean fantastic in a great celebratory way, but fantastic in the way that you know you're going to be able to give some family somewhere a resolution, and that must feel good. Wow. Very interesting. Is it just me who finds it interesting? I don't think it is. I think we're all finding it interesting, aren't we? Yeah, Adventures with Purpose, they're good too. They're good as well. I don't know, Bluebell, about Nicola Bully. I don't know the circumstances. I don't know that they are. Oh, they are based in Lancashire. I don't know, but I don't think they don't talk about individual cases really. So, out of respect to the families, so they would never discuss that. I don't think so. Um, maybe you should put a comment on there and ask them, and maybe there'll be a reply. I don't know, but they've got a tremendous respect for the families, so I don't think they would talk about that, to be honest. So the answer to that, I'm afraid, is I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe they weren't asked. So I don't think they would put themselves forward. Now, I just want to look at this because, of course, this is
It's a Sunday, early in June.
This was Rebecca Ramsey and Dylan Ramsey. Rebecca came on the show, didn't she, not long ago, to talk about losing Dylan, her son, who was only 13 when he went swimming with his friends and unfortunately died. And this video is on Beneath the Surface.
July 2011.
It was an absolutely normal morning, like any other Sunday morning.
I just remembered it being a beautiful sunny day.
The sun was splitting through the trees. You knew it was going to be a blazing hot day.
I remember the house being alone because my wife and kids had gone to see friends out of the area. It was nice and quiet.
My second eldest, Stephen, was in a football tournament. Always a bit of a hectic morning when there's football. You've got to make sure the boots are there, kit's out, socks, they've got a pair of socks and they're not hard.
I've had some breakfast, bacon sandwich with a coffee just to see me throughout the afternoon.
We made a picnic to have food at the tournament. We got drinks together, bottles of water.
I got ready for work, got in my car and I drove to go to work for my 2 o'clock start.
Just before we left, I remember going into Dylan's bedroom that morning, and his bedroom was an actual tip, and he had plates of food and God knows what else, and I told him that he needed to tidy his room before I get back from football. He had a conversation with his dad. He said he was going swimming and could he do his room a little bit later, and he grabbed a towel and off he went.
Oh, bless.
Whilst we was at my son Stephen's football tournament, everybody was sunbathing, everybody was enjoying the heat.
We were just hoping for a quiet day, nice and steady Sunday. I was in the office doing my administration when I received a call through my personal radio.
We was a couple of matches in, and that's when I received the phone call. Changed my life forever.
Oh, Becky.
I was 17 years old when I had Dylan. It was quite a long labour, but when he did come into the world, I remember looking at him and just thinking how special he was, how amazing this little person was that I'd created. And I just remember promising him that I would love him unconditionally for the rest of my life, and I would protect him as best as I.
So it's funny with Dylan. I've seen this video a couple of times, and of course we've spoke to Rebecca. She's been on my channel as a guest, and I've got pictures of Dylan all over my computer and all in my files and everything. Every time I see a picture of Dylan, I smile because, he's got the most infectious smile, as you'll see as it comes on. You see these pictures of him, Every photo of him, he's smiling, makes me smile when I look at him, even though the tragedy that happened to Dylan, the infectious grin that he's got, and that you can just see the light shining out of him.
I could. He was very, very, very much a people person. He loved people. So when he went to nursery, he would want to be friends with you and you and you and you and everybody else. Dylan could be anybody. He was going to be the Red Power Ranger. That was it. That was his dream. He was going to be the Red Power Ranger. And I really think he believed he was going to be the Red Power Ranger. He competed at Sports Day and won everything that he attended. Everything that he did, he won it. Then he went to high school, and again he started on the same foot. He was beating everybody, and he was top of his game. So he became Athlete of the Year, and he was very, very, very physically fit. First time he ever went swimming, he was 8 months old. His ability just grew and grew and grew, and at primary school, Dylan could already do the lengths. Dylan could swim quite well. He just loved water. He was very much a water baby. I never in a million years would have thought that if Dylan said, "I'm going swimming," that those would be the last words he ever said to me.
The call came out over personal radio to all available patrols. Could they attend the Hilltop Quarry, where there was a child in trouble in the water? Immediately, I've shouted up on my radio that I will attend.
I told my mum that we needed to get to the quarry. We needed to get there pretty quick. There's been an accident. And at this point, I'm thinking that Dylan's fallen from the quarry edge. I'm thinking that I'm going to a broken arm, but the water never entered.
God, is that the quarry? Oh my God, is that the quarry? God.
Quarry edge. I'm thinking
Look
that
at
I'm
that.
going to a broken arm, but the water never entered my head. The water.
Thing is, I think kids don't see danger. Dylan was with 2 other boys who were older. There's, who knows what actually went down that day. And, kids, this bravado, isn't there, especially with boys. But also I can see how it would have looked attractive, because it was a hot day and the water would have been inviting. And anyway, who knows? But it just looks awful, doesn't it? But kids don't see danger, I don't think, though. I think Becky would say that Dylan would see danger and he would be careful. So maybe there was more to it, what happened that day.
It never entered my head. I rang my dad and I said, "You need to come and pick up the kids because I think I'm going to have to go to hospital." I remember being blocked in and there was a police officer behind us and he was trying to pull my mum for driving erratically. I got out of my mum's car and jumped into his car. I said to him, "The little boy that you can hear about on your radio," I said, "that's my son." I said, "Please, can you get me there as quickly as possible?"
I remember the first time I saw Dylan, his eyes were closed, his skin was very, very pale, and his lips were just blue, and there was just no reaction from him whatsoever. I knew that we were going to be in trouble trying to save him.
I remember he was driving at 100 miles an hour. I looked at the guy's speedometer who was doing 140 zone. Alarm bells were obviously ringing by this point. I remember praying, and I'm not religious at all, but I prayed so hard that my little boy would be alright.
Yeah.
I just kept rocking backwards and forwards saying, "Please be alright, Dylan, please be alright, Dylan, please be alright, Dylan, please be alright, Dylan, please be alright, Dylan."
We were performing CPR for about 15 minutes. It seemed like an hour. One thing I remember from my sergeant doing the chest compressions is the actual gurgling sound of the water within Dylan. I did my best, but I'd failed.
Oh.
As I arrived, my husband was stood there. I jumped out of the car. And he screamed that Dylan was dead.
One overriding memory of that moment of going up to the top is hearing the scream of Becky, Dylan's mum, and that noise will live with me.
Worst day of my life.
Oh,
Immediately after losing Dylan, like that night, I knew that if this could happen to Dylan, then this could happen to anybody. And I knew that I needed to understand what had happened to Dylan. I couldn't understand.
yeah, and that's the thing. So what we have to remember is what was being said earlier. Dylan was an athlete. You know, he was fit, he was healthy, and he still drowned that day. It can happen to anyone. So the other reason why I'm sort of talking about all these things now is, of course, we're coming towards the end of April. Weather's probably going to get better, not only in the UK. I'm talking to all my chatters from all the countries that they come from. You know, give your young people this message. Becky always says, no lifeguard, no swimming. That's her thing. But of course, we have to remember that not everybody who goes into the water even intends to go into the water. Or maybe they go into the water and there are people around or whatever. So, you know, it's important that we just remember this message. People, take care. Just don't go into the water. You know, and I don't know if it's always going to fall in deaf ears on young people or not. I don't know. Like what Becky would say was that she didn't know about all these issues of water safety before. So she couldn't give Dylan that message. So her mission in life now, she feels, is to make sure this message gets out so that other families don't have to go through the same thing. Whereas beneath the surface, they're not involved in that sort of aspect of things so much as the recovery. But what they want is for people like Becky to be successful in what they're doing so that they're never needed. That's what their aim is. They don't want to be needed. You know, they go back to doing their shipwrecks and things like that. They don't want to go out looking for bodies. But of course, they want to help families. So they'll do it as long as they're needed to do it. But their ideal situation would be to be in a position where it was never necessary. And that's where people like Becky will help. Because Becky now is going out and giving this message. And, you know, I'm just trying to give a little bit of that message as well, you know, to you, either to you or to your young people in your family or whatever. As this every summer it's the same, or you know, anytime a little bit of sun comes out anywhere, isn't it? And of course, you know, it happens in Spain, in the sea, or in swimming pools or whatever. Water is dangerous. It's enjoyable, but like everything else that's enjoyable, people go skiing, don't they? They love skiing. They can fall over when they're skiing and break their leg or break the neck or whatever. You've always got to take precautions because, you know, life itself is dangerous, if you like, isn't it? Really, there's always something that, you know, when you cross the road, you've got to take care when you do it because you could get run over. So you just got to be aware. And I agree with Becky. I think I was trying to think about when I was young and I don't remember. There were some adverts about water safety and stuff like that. But I think for parents, it's important, or you know, for you to try and drum it into your young people. And of course, the problem with this kind of thing as well is you don't really get to know who you save. You know, might be occasional times that people will get in touch and say, "Oh, well, thank you for your message because it stopped me going in the water on Dardy Day." But you know, most of the time, you won't get to hear about the people you save. You'll only get to hear about the people who slip through the net and end up dying or going missing. So it's a very difficult thing, and then also just trying to carry on after you've lost your son. Difficult, yeah.
And how a young, fit, able-bodied swimmer could lose their life in open water swimming.
When you go into water and it's cold, you're automatically shocked and your esophagus closes. You're not getting blood to your arms and legs, therefore you're not getting oxygen to your muscles. In 10 seconds, that's all it takes from going into the water to being rendered paralysed.
You know about crossing the road safely, you know about stranger danger.
I think what we have to remember about Dylan is he had been in the water for a while, so it's unlikely that he had cold water shock, I think. But, you know, it's never been clear. That's another bone of contention, of course, that Becky has got, that she told us about. You know, she wasn't happy with the coroner's, you know, assessment. She felt like she was they were just trying to shut her up and, you know, come to an easy conclusion. But anyway, I'll try and link up, but she did explain a lot about that in the previous, when she appeared as a guest. So it's unlikely that Dylan had cold water shock, but, you know, he'd already been in the water for a while, but who knows?
Nice.
You know about crossing the road safely, you know about stranger danger, green cross code and all the rest of it. This is as important. I wish I knew then what I know now, because if I knew then what I know now, I won't be sitting here reliving my nightmares.
Oh.
The work Becky's done, considering what has happened to her, is remarkable. It takes someone with unbelievable inner strength to do that. Most days she's talking about her son. Remarkable.
I hope Dylan watches from above.
Oh.
If I didn't think that we would be reunited one day, I'm not sure I could go on. But I have to think that one day, when my time comes, you'll be waiting for me.
Oh. So yeah, that's very sad. A very sad story that's sort of come in the middle of it. But you know, Rebecca has other children, so I suppose she's got to carry on for that. I saw a recent video of Rebecca's on her TikTok saying to people what not to say to a grieving mother. Do you know? And I thought, oh God, I wonder if I've ever said the wrong thing. I probably have. Because you know, sometimes when it comes to grief and that, people don't know what to say, do they? So quite often they say daft things like just for something to say, you know. Anyway, it was an interesting video because it was like things that do work, you know, that do help, and things that don't say this, please. You know, it was just like, because, and one thing that I thought was really interesting, that she said in that video was that people will say to her, oh, I don't know how you carry on. And she just says, I don't have a choice. You know, it's not a choice, not choosing to carry on, get up every day. You just do it. And that's, I think, true of a lot of things in life, isn't it? That people are struggling with one way or another. They get up every day and they put one foot through the other, in front of the other. Not because they're choosing to do it. They probably choose to not have to get up and do that, but because they don't have a choice. Or there's one choice, isn't there, which is take yourself away from it all. But some people, that they're not going to entertain that. So, you know, it's like, it's not something you're doing voluntarily. It's something you're doing because you have to. And I thought that was very interesting. Okay, so I want to just look at one more video. Let's see. One more video. No, that might be interesting. Oh, I want to show all these videos. This guy, I think he's still missing, Neil Skinner. Wreck diving. Oh, let's show the quarry dive, because this is appropriate. This is appropriate to Dylan as well. So all these videos are fascinating, I think. I feel like I want to show all of them, but I haven't got time. I've got time for one more. So this is Eccleston Quarry in 2000. Eccleston Quarry was drained. This is going to be interesting, I think. So this is what they found lurking below. This is what terrifies me. You know, what is in these rivers? Do you know, like, what is in them? We're going to find out in a minute. I'm almost scared now. I'm almost scared to show this. But if it, I tell you what, if this stops one person going to swim in a quarry, yeah, good. Oh my God. Look at all these cars. Crikey. Oh my God. So that's the thing again, isn't it? So you go in there swimming, you just swim along and then you trip up over one of these things or you get caught in something. That is the danger. The danger is not even the water itself, is it? It's what's underneath the water and how you can get into it's not only, you know, that you might get cold water shock or you might get cramp or you might get whatever. It's all these things that are hidden. Oh. So if you cliff jump into a quarry, do you know what you could land on? Oh my God. It just doesn't bear thinking about, but I'm sure he's going to show us. God. So don't forget, this is apart from the fact you might see a bloody body floating past you or whatever. Oh God. Oh, it's a water sports centre. Oh, that's good. A bit of good news. So it's been cleared. It's been made a sports centre, water centre, and it's a safe. What did it say that last one? Let me just look. It's been made a safe location to swim and scuba dive. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? It's finished on a bit of positivity. Wow. See, it looks beautiful. So, yeah, quarries are deep and sometimes 100 meters wide, and they're very cold even on a hot summer day. Yeah, there's all every 5 minutes they're talking about somebody who's died. Yeah. God. Just goes on and on, doesn't it? I think this is a really good video. I can't believe it hasn't had more likes. Stop, think, don't swim in quarries. Well, very interesting. So yeah, don't forget, go over to this channel, subscribe, like the videos. Yeah, very good. Very interesting videos. They should have more subscribers and they should have more likes on their videos because these are so important. There's lots more to look at. I will look at more. Oh, I just want to show this because this is interesting. Just trying to show the difference that they were looking for. But just trying to show the difference, how water can change as well. You know, it can all seem okay 1 minute and then the next minute it isn't. We saw that in Valencia, in Spain, didn't we? You know, those flash floods. Anyway, I feel like I could go on all day with this. But I've got to go. I've got to go. Well, the dog was quiet because she was warned. She was told she had to be quiet. She was quiet. You were a good girl, weren't you? You were a good girl. But probably because the neighbours' dogs weren't out barking, because that's what happens in my house. When the neighbours' dogs go out barking, then our dogs start barking and all hell lets loose. Anyway, okay, so yeah, I literally feel like I could just carry on and go on, but I will. Another day I'll be doing more about this. I'm finding it so fascinating. It's such worthwhile work that they're doing. They deserve more recognition and more publicity. So I'm going to try and publicise them as much as I can. And yeah, I'll see you really soon. And then, so if you remember, tonight in the members live I'll be telling you who my 2 guests are tomorrow evening and giving you a bit of an idea about what we're going to talk about. We'll have some fun as always that we do in members. Can't believe it's Thursday again. It's Thursday again. It just seems like you blink your eyes and it's Thursday again. And yeah, I'll see you all later. And until then, as always, not only may your God go with you, but remember, tell your young people in your families and your old people, anyone who you think might be daft enough to go and jump in a quarry or go wild water swimming alone or do those things, tell them, show them the videos, tell them what's happened to all these people. Every single person that can be saved is one more person that people like beneath the surface don't have to go looking for. Okay, take care. I'll see you really soon in the next video, and may your God go with you. Yeah, and actually, Dylan, I made a little video of Dylan that I want to show. Now, when I made the first video, I spelt the name wrong. I felt awful, but do you know what? Becky, she's so gracious. She never even mentioned, because it's Dylan Ramsey, but it's Ramsey with an A, not with an E. So I redid the video to change the name, but she never mentioned it. She never brought it up. She's a very kind person. Of course, I won't be able to find it now, probably, but let's have a look. Because no, not that one. What did I do with it? What did I do with it? Right, I'm going to find it. I'm determined to find it now, so sorry, you'll have to wait a little bit before I say goodbye properly. Oh, I remember what I did with it. Hang on. Sometimes I've got so many files. Too many files, too many little videos, clips, things. There it is. So I redid it and I changed the spelling on the name. It's very, very short. But thank you for reminding me about that, Kelly. Yeah, for Dylan.